I started teaching yoga, asana, I started practicing in 68. I started teaching in 69. There was no certification programs then. No yoga teacher trainings that cost $3,500. No, millions of different styles of yoga. No acro yoga, no aero yoga, no. I could really riff on that, but I'm not gonna, because you won't think I'm being respectful. I've done this a long time. I met my guru in 1971. By 1973, I had opened 6 ashrams for him, and then he passed away suddenly, and so I became the head of 11 ashrams in the United States and 3 in Europe. I practiced and studied in India, Nepal, Tibet, China, Japan, Indonesia, and Korea. I've also studied in France and England, Sufism. And where I'm getting to with this is, the experience that we have just shared is over and over and over again the most sacred experience I have ever had in my life. And I'm saying this to you because on the one hand, I want you to appreciate the opportunity that you've stumbled into. And that's just what it is, stumbled. And that's what happened to all of us. I stumbled into my guru's house in New York. I had no idea what I was stumbling into. But as I crossed the threshold of his house, I realized I had the experience that I would literally was stepping out of New York and into a completely different universe. I'm also saying this to you because I want you to think about a little bit for yourself about what sacred means and where sacred is and how it is that we can discover and maybe even live a little bit of a sacred life. I mean, of course, I have spent my entire life doing this, thinking about this, but I can say to you honestly, I think, if we're not trying to live a sacred life, what the fuck are we doing here? This place is an insane asylum. Rudy used to say that too. Rudy would say, the Earth is the Bellevue of the solar system. Nobody right ever comes here. And so our job, in coming here is to grow from within ourselves and liberate ourselves from this insanity, not by fighting with it or getting tangled up in it or trying to make sense of it, but by discovering within ourselves what is truly sacred and cultivating ourselves until we can live that truly sacred from within ourselves in the world that we move through, in whatever piece of the world we move through, holding from within our hearts and minds a complete openness and unconditional love and appreciation for the possibility, the unimaginable possibility that we have stumbled into. What does sacred mean to you? Where is sacred? Where is sacred? Is it this building or this land? Or is it a temple in India? A monastery in Tibet, a zendo in Kyoto. My guru's guru, Nityananda, used to say, the heart is the most sacred of all places. Go there and practice. Your heart is the most sacred of places. And truly discovering your heart, what you will discover is there is only one heart, the heart of life itself, which is beauty and abundance beyond our capacity to imagine. Everybody here is crazy, but flow is what heals. Flow heals. When we have an injury in our body, what we want to do is reestablish the flow within the tissue that allows for healing to happen. When our hearts are broken, we need to reestablish flow in order for our hearts to heal. When our souls are buried in tension and fear and stress, it is flow that dissolves that tension and restores our experience of wholeness within ourselves. And so what we are doing here in this sacred moment is connecting to that most sacred place within ourselves and establishing and experiencing and hopefully sustaining a flow that begins to dissolve on every level the accumulated trauma of our bodies and our minds and our hearts and our souls, to allow for that unimaginable possibility, that incredible beauty and abundance that is resident in our souls to begin to awaken and rise up and express itself in the field of our life. And we do that not just for ourselves, but for the benefit of all the beings that our life touches, because all will benefit. We establish flow within ourselves with our breath, which is, of course, a flow, and with the energy of the breath, which moves through the chakras and the channels, awakening all of our energy centers, especially our heart. We establish a flow among ourselves, which transforms the entire field of our life experience. And holding that flow, we become healed and clear and beautiful and blissful and free of all stress. Unless you become a teacher, of course, and then you get not just yours, but hundreds of other stresses. Our job in this world is not to figure out what's wrong with all those assholes out there. Our job in this world is to clear ourselves of the notion of assholes so that we can connect very deeply into the most sacred space of our life and live from the innate abundance of life itself, which is resident within us. Now, maybe you think you'll get around to that when your kids leave home, or when your kids are old enough. I hear this a lot. But I'm telling you, There is no time but now, and let's cut the bullshit and get to work. Namaste, everybody.